I wasn't here in the beginning. I was in a smaller apartment space down the road from here. Started with buckets. I bought paint buckets. I bought omorogun. I bought just different things like, start off with my black soap production.
A lot of people always, they want to move back to Africa to build their business. Even people that work in Africa want to leave, they want to be their own boss. I think there are more entrepreneurs in Africa than anywhere else in the world, right?
Yeah.
But what has been the reality for you of doing that?
I feel like because I'm female, I've had a lot more advantages than men have. Nigeria can just it can get the worst out of you sometimes.
Are you saying that a lot of people that you've seen, like entrepreneurs in this market sometimes, are just jumping too fast?
Too fast.
Too fast, right? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. I am super excited today because I'm going to be speaking with a Nigerian female that left the US nearly 12 years ago to launch into the beauty industry. She's also launching her own beauty brand at the moment called Pigmented Beauty. I'm super excited because she's going to be sharing with us the honest, raw truth of operating in this beauty industry in Nigeria. We all know that Africa, right, is one of the largest markets for beauty. It's a target for major industries and major companies like L'Oreal, like Unilever, who see Nigeria and Africa as the next big market. So actually seeing a female Nigerian that is creating a local brand for local people, right, is super exciting for me. It's super exciting to see African females showing their mark on the continent in an industry that is booming. So let's go meet this formidable lady.
Welcome.
Thank you. So where are we?
Welcome to my factory.
Your factory?
My skincare manufacturing factory.
Amazing.
So yeah, come in.
Please show us around.
So this is where I warehouse the inventory that gets sold to B2B other retail clients. So I have some of our nail polish brand, the Ardell lashes, Clubman, men's care products.
So this is different from Pigmented Beauty, right?
Yaloja.
Oh yeah, Yaloja. Okay.
And here we are. It's pretty simple.
So many products here.
Yeah.
So many products. This is incredible.
Sometimes.
Gosh, I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate seeing what goes on behind the scenes. So this is all just for inventory storage right now. Wow.
And just trying to make things as easily found as possible.
Yes.
To avoid any.
So do you have a big team that helps you run this?
Like we were like 4 of us. It's now just me.
Just you. Right.
Yeah, since the pandemic happened and a couple of folks didn't return back to workforce just out of fear of COVID and just not really having the best. We're not really in sync properly. So,
right.
We just kind of parted ways, but then like a couple just said, "Oh, well, school, education, the IT." Everyone said, "Oh, I want to be doing IT now." I'm like,
okay, right.
So yeah, so it's just pretty much me making sure things stay afloat.
Right.
So I'm the warehouse packer. I'm the inventory book.
Amazing. You're a serious like African entrepreneur. You're getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
So what
I don't do it, who else will?
True. And I guess you doing actually, as in your business, right?
Yeah.
You understand your business a lot more. Yeah. So tell us, what else is here in this building? Is it just here, the inventory?
Down here is just for the warehouse. We've got a big queue for more of our packaging and packing items. So then upstairs is where we produce the skincare.
Oh wow! So we're gonna go check that out now. That should be interesting to see. Tell me, you also produce yourself too? Like you get down and dirty?
Normally, I'm usually wearing like an overall right now, but because I'm trying to be fancy for you today.
For us,
I'm wearing mufti.
I'm wearing
mufti today.
Oh wow.
Okay, so I started off with the African black soap.
Okay.
And I work with a small group of women in Oyo, Osun State area, and they help me with making the base raw material, the black soap.
The black soap itself. Oh, I love that. So you're actually using local, you're actually giving money to local people rather than relying on importation or anything like that.
Yeah, because most people actually go from other African countries and like,
We have it right here.
Like Nigeria actually is where it came from. Like it came from, Nigeria to Ghana to Benin to
And they were
Togo.
going back to Ghana to bring it back here.
Bro, you have money.
Yeah.
I'm like, they have money too, but overall, from there, I then went into making my own body oils where I work with a palm kernel oil producer in Ogun State area, and like I get freshly pressed oils from there. I get my honey from a farm also in Lagos and Ogun State, and it's mostly really like locally sourced by local farmers, local women, just simply making beauty of Africa within the products.
For Africans.
For Africans.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
For Africans.
Gosh, okay, so you're gonna take me along to production.
So
Let's see.
I'm currently in production, so it's a bit of a mess.
It's okay.
So please forgive a mess.
So here, tell us a bit more. What's happening here?
Our production space. So usually I have the black soap where we melt it first, and then once it gets, I think it got a bit.
Oh wow.
That's pure. Use like this pure black soap, and from this state we then filter it and have it like cleaned out because it kind of get a bit like sandy from those parts. So we have to get it first filtered out. That's empty, but over here has the actually so over here this is like raw black soap.
Oh wow.
We melt it down into this state. So once we're done melting it down, we then filter it into this state. So you get the filtered ones here where it's not, if you don't have those the sands and
the grainy particles, right?
And then after that we then have it processed into this state. So it's not fully done. This is about 1 week of work. So within a few more days it will then be ready for actual
mixing,
filling. So we get filled, and then from there we use. So normally I'll have the soap poured into the hopper over here. From the hopper we then fill the bottles from filling to it. And from there, all me here quickly.
All you, wow, amazing.
From there it gets moved onto this shelf. So when I'm done with that, I will just like spend a day or so making sure I have all the cartons ready to go. And so while I'm having that done, so after that's done, I then move this one here, have the label applied to it, and then it gets sealed, and I carry it down to the, then it goes down to the warehouse.
Where ready
so
to.
I've been working out the lot.
That's amazing. No, it's actually impressive to see such like production. How everything, that's actually quite impressive.
Yeah, thank you. So it's like my baby, really. It's my, my third child.
Amazing. So you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna probably just go outside so that we can have a bit more conversation. You can just give us the the raw talk about entrepreneurship,
struggle,
in beauty in Nigeria, the hustle. Like let people hear the good. We want to talk. That's why we're here to hear the real deal.
No wahala.
Yes,
I'm here for that.
Let's go. So before we get started, in this conversation, I want to start with a bit of an icebreaker. So just to get you a little bit loose, get to know a little bit more about you, right? Okay. Can you tell me something that you do that no one on earth knows that you do?
Oh. I have no idea. I'm too open about everything I do. So I feel like I don't know. So maybe gosh.
It could be like, I don't know, do you sing in the shower?
Oh, God,
do
no.
you love an artist that you shouldn't really be loving?
Okay, it's kind of terrible. So I have this, I'm trying to win off it. So it's kind of like two different things. So I have a book addiction.
Okay.
And so I've been trying for the past couple of years to not read all the time. It's kind of, it's a bit lame. But then where you get me into a book and it's really good, I may simply not show up to anything for like however that book will take me to get done with the book. So I think where my birthday some years ago in America, the book 7 part, what's it called? Harry Potter just came out. I had gone to the bookstore at like in the morning.
Harry Potter fan, huh?
Barnes and Noble. I was there the whole day, played the games, got my book at around 2 in the morning, got my book finally. And then my dad had thrown me a birthday party the next day, well that day really, at the house. And I'm like, I have my birthday gift in my hand here. thank you for the party, but then just
This
packed
is
my food, went to my room, ate, and just like read and didn't sleep for like 2 days until I was done with the book. And I was like, oh, thank you, family, for coming through, but sorry. Well, I
wow.
just couldn't I'm like, I need to know what happens. I'm like, oh, party, yay, but I'm reading a good book right now. And that's one bit there where I can get a bit too into a book, into a really good story, and I just can't just get out of it. And then maybe like my Real Housewives
You are so fanatic.
Oh my god! It's been way on Twitter. Well, it's on Twitter where I have a Zigos account, and all of my comments are really just talking about Real Housewives.
So you guys all do it now. She loves Real Housewives and she loves books. So if, for example, we're to invite you out at any point in time and you cancel on us, it might be because you're reading a book.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, actually, pigmented beauty. We've seen sort of like the, where the magic happens. Like, why did you decide to start this brand?
I think I was a bit like, I was just going through different things. It was during the crash that happened when we went from 155 naira to dollar to 180 to like 550. Just during that time, and I was just I was depressed because my main thing was I used to import a lot, and I still do, and that requires dollars. I'm just like, crap, I have this import I need to pay for, I need to meet customer demands, I have folks owing me money, and I can't control the dollar.
Of course.
And so I was just going through, you know what, I'm always buying some things locally, and I don't like what the cost for these things are. So let me just see what can I do where I can actually create value and also control a bit more of my inventory. So in a case where if I have an issue with products A, B, C that are imported, I can still continue on with the locally produced ones. I don't have to always worry about the inflow of just business having to just stop for money to make sense again. And so I did a bit of research on just different skincare products in Nigeria, went around, did a whole road trip, went around Ogun State, Osun, Oyo.
Or just to see what was on offer in those places?
What was happening? Like, just, it didn't work because black soap was really a big thing for me because I grew up with black soap. And I know I had gotten a small bottle of black soap from a friend's like beauty brand back then, and it cost 2.5 for a small bottle. And I was like, Literally, like, are you for real? For black soap care? That's so expensive. And so I did a bit of market research, local, everywhere, and I was just seeing different kinds of ones, but they even have fake black soap too. And like, so that made no sense to me. So just from all of that happening, I then chose to, let me see how to create value at a good price point and not skimp on good quality. And so I then made my first African black soap, which was like with using like locally sourced black soap, of course, from Nigeria here, locally sourced honey, and I was trying so hard to have it be all Nigeria
made in Nigeria.
But then Nigeria sometimes can just for your hands, where like from the label people where I had finished making my products, just labels were left hanging. So for like about 6 or so months, waiting for them to get my labels. Where are they? Say, it's coming, man. It rained yesterday, and so delay. So but how will rain affect your factory? I'm confused. So just like a whole like back and forth, just very, very ridiculous. I was then forced to go to UK, got labels there. It was terrible.
Why were you terrible?
This thing, like, so I learned then, after paying premium for nonsense, that sometimes, even if it's UK or America,
it doesn't necessarily because
And so what happened was the labels, when you put them into the shower, it will just fade off. And I have them still there, just like waste. I then said, you know what, I know China markets. I know that they always do. It's what you ask for.
You say you know China market. Explain a little bit more. How do you know China market so well?
Because I've been in a space of beauty for like since I was born, really. I had no say in the beauty markets in my life, really. But then
and tell us a little bit more about that. Like,
okay, so my mother runs a company she founded a company called Kudi Cosmetics. And so I grew up going to Balogun Market every weekend and helping with the products over there, helping with sales or carrying goods on our heads from the car to the store. So we've always in the family been in
you've been born into it, right? So that's
pretty much. Yeah, we had no say. It's like, weekend, you don't have school, you come and work. I'm like, But I actually enjoyed going to Balogun because it was Amala weekend for us also. Like Amala people were really good over there. And from there, when I worked in New York, I worked in a beauty company. And so I got to see a lot of what happens on the back end.
When did you go to New York?
So I'm like going.
Yeah, like did you? So was it like you did your university degree there?
So uni was in Atlanta,
Okay.
and then moved to New York to work in a company that makes products, well, beauty things for other companies. So they make more for the luxury ends, like the Estee Lauder, the Clinique, the MAC. They make for like Ulta, like Sephora, different companies.
Right.
They made many of the beauty things you see on their shelves. And so I got to experience what happens on the back end,
of course, yeah,
of the beauty production space. And so when I moved back to Nigeria, I'd already like learned so much.
Let me quickly interject there.
Yeah.
What pushed the move back to Nigeria? And also, quick question: you going to work for this company that was producing like sort of in the back end? Was that driven by your past and the fact that you're born into that basically drive? So was that the drive to come back to Nigeria? Was that you, or was that like what was the urge? What was the need?
It was also a family business. So like at that point, we're going through a lot of issues with my mom's company with Cody Cosmetics, and just like staffing issues, just like staff thefts, and I was just angry about like what was happening, and just like, okay, you know what, let me just come through and come help for a bit, and then help keep things a bit more structured, and then bounce was my entire
that was
goal.
all just to come help
And bounce, really. So I moved into Lagos in 2009, October 2009, and I just helped install the whole like inventory structure in the company, and just a point of sale system. Went through all of that and with them for about from 2 months plan time to about 6 months to actually get all of that working. And then I was like, you know what, I like this life in this. You like
this Lagos life? What do you like about Lagos life? Wow.
It was easier. Now it's a bit stressful because back then it's more so I work, I earn money, I just chill. But then when I now doing all this work today now, it's like a bit stressful. But back then, family business, I had a lot more, a bit more lax to my holiday time off.
Right.
Because in America, I was 2 weeks and that was it.
Oh, is that right?
2 weeks was the maximum you can get in a year. And so I love to travel. And so my mom said, but Zainob, if you stay with us, don't worry, you can be traveling here and there. Don't worry about it. I'm like,
so that was a alert for you. It's like, I can be my own boss and have my own flexible time.
And then she lured me in with, okay, hey, you know what? We've got a store in BGC that kind of needs more hands-on help. What about you go take over that store?
Right.
You pay us, like have to be a franchise style system. Right. So you buy from us, you pay us, I'm like, sure, let's do that. So from that one store, I then opened a few more stores, kind of continue that franchise model. And then I'm like, this is not bad though. Like this, like there's no way I could be this free with my workspace. Where it was a bit more, what's the word for it? I had a lot more freedom to, make differences happen in the company.
Right, make change, right. An impact, right?
Impact in the company where I had a lot more say in what was happening. And because, like in the more corporate space, you ask for things to change. It could be like you go through like years of
bureaucracy, right? Of course, yes, I can imagine.
Whereas, okay, hey, A and B is not working. Let's try this.
I can try it tomorrow. Doesn't work. Right.
Next one. Okay, that works. We continue from there. Easily tweak things. You have to. Whereas company director also, I had a lot more say in how things also work. And so having all of that direct, impact.
Impacts, right? So it's exciting.
It was a lot more.
Awesome. So wait, 2009, and right now we're in 2021. What? That's like 12 years that you've been here.
Oh, don't say it out loud.
12 years. Question first: are you ever planning to leave?
I go through it like. Last year, I was done with Nigeria. The whole NSARS thing happened. It was just depressing. Just again, of course, COVID happened, and then everything just happening in Nigeria. Just how life was just not really. Seeing how America, Canada were really like making things happen for the people who live in the country. Where I read about they'll have money put to people's accounts who were lower income.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm like, oh yes, Nigeria, and then a week passed by. Where is their money? And just those things were just like driving me nuts and just making me so angry about what was happening in the country. I'm like, you know what? you don't do. So I actually like planned to move last year.
Thank you for being honest about that. I think a lot of people are actually not honest in terms of like their frustrations.
No, because even like when like Naira crash happened, banks pretty much held every cash in dumb accounts. You couldn't do anything with your money, so you have invoices to pay for, but you can't do anything with it. So just like all of those, like it was just frustrating. Where hey, I earned that money,
Right.
I saved a lot to make that money. Where is my money frozen in your account? Can't I just pay my? It was just yeah, Nigeria can just like it can get the worst out of you sometimes, and yeah, it's just a lot.
So what's been the toughest part working for yourself as an entrepreneur? And the reason why I ask that is that a lot of people always, they want to move back to Africa to build their business. Even people that work in Africa want to leave, they want to be their own boss. I think there are more entrepreneurs in Africa than anywhere else in the world, right?
Yeah.
But what has been the reality for you of doing that? Like, what has been the reality? The good, the bad, and the ugly? Like, tell us.
So, I feel like my biggest struggle has just simply been the cash flow. And I mean, I pay rent and it's not cheap. And last year, it was, February, pay rent, easy, no wahala. But then there was no business for the most part of last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, luckily I was able to buy up enough inventory before things went up in prices.
Right.
Like costs went up like almost times 2.5x of everything. So luckily I bought enough inventory to cover my basic, like at least enough inventory to cover me for at least a year.
Wow.
And so in doing that, it kind of helped, like it's helping me breathe a bit even till today right now. But then rent bill came, in February
again.
I'm like, voila deal. I was like, who going to help me pay?
This rent
so
again.
I'm like, sorry, going through, who's owing me money? Like, hello, please. Can you
all your debts away for my money.
I'm begging you, you know? And so luckily for me, I had a couple who were going to work with me and pay. Like the money, boy, just work with me small.
Right.
It's like paying. So like luckily for me, my landlord gave me like a 2 months,
grace period. Yes.
Pay half now, pay it. I said, thank God. So I finally paid it off like just a few weeks ago. But then just going through, chop Gary and just save every money to cover this cost. And then of course you're paying staff. So like most of last year, I survived on my groceries that I gotten since February. So luckily, I live alone, so I have a big deep freezer, and I always buy things like bulk. Yoruba woman, we buy things like for a family. If you're single, you just buy it in bulk. So I have like enough to keep me okay all throughout the year while still trying to cover up my staff overhead, like their monthly bills, at least a bit, not the entire company, not open, but just trying to survive. And
but you said you were still selling online though, even though physically.
So the online bit was just more so it was just me. So I have an online store. I packed inventory to my house before lockdown happened, and so throughout lockdown, I was on I have like my retail stores. I took all their phones with me to my house. So every WhatsApp account, I was hello, good afternoon, ma.
Right, you're literally the one behind it.
Every sale happened from each store. Okay, what do you need? So luckily I have a few stores in Lekki area. So when they had the lockdown thing, I got my the pass to drive to my store to get more inventory when I needed to. I mean, like at a point my car got taken by police. I was like,
taken by police? I don't understand.
I said, where are you going to? Say, I'm going to Lekki. I said, it's not allowed. But God, they put curfew from I think from like 10 a.m. to like around maybe 2 o'clock during that time. It was around 10 a.m.
Right.
Past 10. So there were cars everywhere going the same way I was going, but it's just me.
Just singled you out, right?
God, phone out. Let me show you all of this whole thing. My car was carried to their station, and then they carried me to my house with their own car.
Wow.
I was like,
so the car was at the station. Was that at that time?
It was there for a weekend.
Wow.
I had to call uncle, help me call your people, I beg, because this is actually now wahala. And in the end, because they had no actual just cause, and
right.
because I also was recording the entire thing. Like, madam, please come. Bring your phone, delete your video, I will release your car. I was like, okay, let's do that. And then it got released eventually, but it required having to beg a lot.
So have you, in your time of sort of building this business, had to sort of experience a lot of situations like that? I guess if you were in the States and you're doing your own, you wouldn't have to deal with, right? And as a female, actually, I want to get into that a little bit more. As a female, and maybe not, have you had any challenges that sort of you felt, if I was male, that would never happen? Or maybe because of your industry, it's not really, or because you have your own distribution already, or...
I feel like because I'm female, I've had a lot more advantages than men have, if that makes sense.
Okay, tell us more.
I know that my car that got seized that day, other men whose cars got seized, they carried that car to Kiri Kiri. Mine was carried to their own lots.
So you know, by begging. Right.
Whereas, like, I didn't have to pay for it to get released. But then the men who I saw coming through, they all, from there, got carried off to mainland to get dealt with. And they had to pay a lot. So
to get that out.
My being a woman...
It actually helped.
So even like whenever I'm driving with my delivery van, if it might not just me, like with my driver carrying it there, he always gets stopped. A long story, delayed for hours, even though he has every document on check.
Right.
He has to go through that whole long story. But if it is me, that woman, good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Keep on going.
Being female.
I'm very aware that like in Nigeria, being female, it's helped me a lot. Even like within the business networking access space where like the she trades is for women. And so I've like last year.
So you say she trades or tell us a
this
little bit
like
more about
ITC thing with the IFC, ITC. And it's like a free
support
program where you kind of like, it's kind of like it's a mentor kind of thing plus learning and like, how to be better in your business space. You have folks who are pros at that space and they help you understand what you're doing wrong and how can you do things better.
Okay, that's
so just
great.
like pretty much like it's for women, and so I got to learn a lot more at no cost from like industry pros across the world, like people from France, Canada, different
How do people
countries.
access this? Is it online or is it like through networks or how?
It's done now. It was done in March, but then I joined their program about 3 years ago and was just through word of mouth where I just happened to be in the right place and the right convo.
Right.
So, oh my God, see? Go online, go here. I'm like, okay, yeah, quickly. And I'm very big on, if it's a woof, I like a woof. And so a woof that will help my life. I'm always like about that life. And so I jumped into it and just got to learn a lot more that thankfully to them, my packaging, like many things I was doing in the past, I changed to be a lot more internationally ready to export and whatnot. So like they've been a big help for me.
Right. So are you exporting pigments and beauty right now?
Not quite. I do on a small scale, like, online orders in America. I'm like, how do you even find me? Because I'm terrible at marketing. So I'm like, how did you find my website? Well, thank you. But I'm working towards making sure I have things in place structure-wise in order to be ready for export. So I'm currently going through getting a bit more of my equipment ready and getting packaging better, where I use locally sourced packages, bottles, and they're not always
up to par.
The best, where it's always a bit like bendy. I have like bubbles in all of my packages. It's always annoying, like, oh, it won't even stand well. I will make the order. I'm paying premium to get to know my own spec. Yet I don't get what I'm paying for, and it's just frustrating. So trying to now like get cash funds raised to then import in the bottles and just getting a few things done to become export ready. But hopefully I'll get there.
You just mentioned like cash funds ready. I think it would be interesting for people to know actually this business, Pigmented Beauty. How did you fund that?
Man, Gary, I saw Gary every day. And I have friends who understand that I'm always broke. And then we have like, house hangouts all the time. You just bring out cook and we hang out. But then I have my retail stores through the Kuti space. And so each store makes money from retail sales. And so that allowed me to start off a small scale. I wasn't here in the beginning. I was in a smaller apartment space down the road from here. Started with buckets. I bought Spain's buckets. I bought Omorogun. I bought just different things like, start off with my black soap production. Drove myself in my van to Oyo State to go and find black soap. Carry it to my car. Just, was all just pretty much bootstrap. Start small. And then luckily, prior to launching my product, I already do B2B through Iyawoloja, my other business. And so, like, because I already do B2B, I already have a market reach with the Med Plus stores, Health Plus, the ShopRite and Co. And so I already have those people to sell to. And so okay, hey guys, please try out my products.
Right. So it was easy to sort of like introduce it to them.
So of course, Kudi, like, hello family, he bought
Here,
some of my
right.
products. And then Med Plus were my number two, the first two who actually said yes to me. And then from there, we got into the Health Plus stores. But then we're just more so started up small with like my bucket products. And then Kudi was my first customer at International Trade Fair show. We sold, wait, it's selling no, thank God. And then, as it was selling, we're seeing demand grow where every month they always ask for, increased quantity of the products. And then from there, I then was able to afford to move into a bigger space.
Right.
And then started buying equipment small by small. So every few months, we'll buy filling equipment. Because before, from funnel, you pour it into the funnel into the bottle. So we never, we've got a machine for filling the bottles now instead. Just buying the small things as we grew, and that allowed for it to then,
get to.
But it's pretty much just like mainly self-funded. And then really, thankfully, family is Kudi, so I always owe them money. So like actually this past year, plus having to like survive this whole business thing was, okay, you know what, I got a phone call, Zainob, you're owing us too much money. We need to figure out a way to pay. So it became a case of, all of my retail stores all throughout the past year, every cash from there was going to
pay back
directly. So a thing where I earned zero from all of my retail stores for over a year, and that allowed for me to. So I was survival mode. Where I'm going to just soak my Gary in comfort,
like that.
And just not even like argue. But then because I had that support, I was able to grow it to the point where it is right now. Because without having them give me
line of credit, essentially.
Pretty much, that really helped me, because if not, I'm like, thank you, mother.
You know what you've said, honest, and I think you've been very honest with regard to saying, you know what, I've had backing and support from my family.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people sometimes tell stories whereby I just, from grass to grace. How did they happen? God just made it happen.
I remember going to this session before, like some years ago, and I was looking forward to understanding how did this woman become so, like, what happened?
Right.
And it was, thank God. I'm always praying, I'm always fasting. I'm like,
who does that help?
Yes,
like, how did you do it? We know God was a part of it.
Thank God.
But what else?
What happened? Like, what did you do? And then, family has been my biggest support. Right. And then my mom, my uncle, because they're all in the beauty space.
Right.
So, my uncle runs, and Essenza?
Essenza, yeah.
So they were like, what if I'm just going through struggles? So, uncle, are you at home? Oh, yeah. I just vitro. I just
of course.
And then, what about you try this now? Like, give me money. No. You're your own boss. What about you try
I'm giving you the idea, which is money. It's value in itself,
so,
right?
Whatever I'm going through here, I'm currently broke. I don't have, last year, this everyday Gary life, I'm hungry. Went to their house for a week or two or a month. I was just there every day, ate their food. Just kind of got back to saved my own money, went back home. So having all of those supports,
that's what really helps.
It helped a lot, because I'm like, uncle, at a point, went to their, food warehouse and just packed food. I just carried it home.
You're definitely not shy of help.
Oh no, family. I'm like, hey, their blood, and we all know how we all got to our spots in life. Like he had help. Mom had help. They've all been like a great help to each other in their business spaces. So I'm like, please.
Why not? But I then have a question. There are many people out there that are watching this video and thinking, you know what, maybe I am in beauty space. I'm trying to manufacture under my house, do something, but I don't have those networks. I don't have that family in that space. I'm trying to get my products to really scale, right? What would you advise, as an insider that's probably seen other people, for example, trying to get their products to Kudi, right, cosmetics? Like, what would you advise those people to do?
Start small. That's it. My first 2 years, I was not broke. I was very okay, but because I was overextending myself and doing too much was what actually got me into problems. So a thing where my beginning was, buckets, paint buckets.
Yourself on the ground doing it.
I went to Ibano, bought some funnel. It was very simple. It was like, do as I need, and didn't go beyond my own level. But then, I want to go to this store. So I'm going to start, getting these things done and buying these things that I don't need yet. And so with all of those overextending myself in that kind of way, I was in trouble. And so I got very humble after seeing that, maybe like last year you're doing so well like every day, but then now you now have more brands who are now in your space, so you don't have as many demand as you did before. So I got very, very humble, fixed my way of doing businesses, downscaled a whole lot.
Okay.
I was like a full house here, staff here, overhead costs, them like stealing from me and up and down anyhow, and just like having people just pretty much leech off of my business.
Right.
And so that was killing me. But then I feel like if I had just simply continued on the path I was on in the beginning, where it was small scale, it was in an apartment, it didn't require wahala like that, and NAFDAC does cottage SME programs for companies.
Okay.
And so you can be in a small room and still get NAFDAC number. It doesn't require having a whole big 4-room factory.
Really?
It's cheaper.
Right.
It's a 2-year thing for your number to
What
work.
do you mean 2-year? Like a
so they want, like, for a bigger company, get 5 years for your NAFDAC number to be on the product. So every 5 years you get it renewed.
Of
but
course.
For a smaller company, it's 2 years. Every 2 years you renew your NAFDAC license. And so, like, I could have just simply stuck with what I was doing
small,
and then grown according to you know.
So you're saying that
demand.
a lot of people, are you saying that a lot of people that you've seen, like entrepreneurs in this market sometimes, are just jumping too fast?
Too fast,
right? So
too fast.
But at what point then do you know, like, how do I scale? At what point is it when you can afford it to demand?
Yeah, demand, money flow, like, having better payment terms. So I think where I do B2B a lot, and so I don't get cash immediately. Now, luckily for me, I had my retail stores, so my stores got cash every day. So the cash flow from that end was helping me a lot to continue on with the flow. But then I then started doing a lot more online sales, and from online, that alone is enough to at least continue on with buying inventory that I need right now. And so I feel like if you don't have the B2B access, online only, you can still continue on with the small scale, sell as you can, and then you grow as you need to. You don't just grow into what you want to grow into.
Right.
You just grow as you need to, and then you don't overextend yourself and then have stuff like half the time there and the corner just doing nothing.
Right.
Nothing your money. So
and you may be telling people out there that I'm a businesswoman, I have like 10 staff. That's like a badge of honor, right?
I beg it's wash. Please, I've learned to grow in a smart way, you need to like have enough, key staff to make sure you don't overdo it and like that just like, get stressed out over every small thing. But hire as you need. One person can do like 3 different gigs. For a small company, you're not always producing all the time. So hiring one guy to always produce for you, where you don't need to always be having the factory run all the time, is senseless. Okay, guy, Monday to Wednesday, it will be for sales. Maybe Fridays only for supply the stores, and Thursday we then make a bit more for next week.
Next week, of course.
But you're not always having to. So one guy can do
various different roles,
roles, and so like I've learned that, man. See, according to your pocket size.
Okay,
don't overdo it.
I have a question for you. So many people that are coming back thinking about moving back to Africa, moving back to Nigeria, moving back for change to build businesses, right? Give me 3 advice that you'd give them before deciding whether to jump on that plane.
I think
and land in Lagos.
I mean, just come here for a 1 month holiday.
Holiday, okay.
Not like but 1 week in Lagos in December as party. No, come like
it's not reality.
Come like when it's like February, March. Don't come during December time where it's party time and like you're just paroled every day. No, that's even Lagosians. That during that month, we're all on holiday too. We're all in that vibe mode. It's a different, country space or the city space.
Yeah.
Come here for a month, experience just like the day-to-day kind of life, just from your home to the store.
Right.
What happens from like just like going from your house just to go and buy groceries, the struggle, the traffic, the damn folk hitting your car and say you're mad, and therefore, but according to me, you're mad even when they hit your car and they're Okada wahala,
like experience the life, not the life that you've been sold,
basic
not
life.
The December Jaye life, just the basic life. Okay.
Like you don't even cook food, just to go and buy your food ingredients, just the wahala to go to market first. You buy what you can find over there. You go to ShopRite, so you buy so just to buy 1 pot of food may require go to like 5 different stores. So those like simple things kind of add into the kind of life you live in Lagos, because yes, work is there, but then not like, but then being able to just like withstand the Lagos struggle. The basic things of like agbero na wahala, your tire issues, like your car having problems, mechanic struggle.
Just see the struggle and see whether the struggle meshes with you, whether you can deal with that.
Phone struggle, network,
so we have two more things.
So that's
the
one,
first one. Yes.
Number 2, have a very strong friendship network in Lagos. Like if you're anywhere in Nigeria, for me, I find that having like family, friends, like just
a strong
very, because it helps a lot, because it's the best distressor. We all are going through the same kind of, like, it's different business fields maybe, but then still similar struggles. Where you can just like have the friends to like hang out with on a Friday night, wine. You just vent about
your struggles, of course.
Like therapy, because the therapy, like, you can't always, afford to go and do better help online or go and find a site,
Of course,
your friends who will be there for you, good friends, not like your yahoo kind of, not like leeches, like actually like people who tell you the truth,
care and
who will always be there for you, who will call you out on your nonsense in private,
tell you the truth,
or in public sometimes too. When you're doing too much, like calm the freaking day down. Having those friends are key. Valuable. Because like,
I agree with you there.
Them,
it's necessary.
Nigeria can be very, very draining, and I've seen people who have it really, really well in the business space and everything, but just because they don't have that good like support system, they get drained out like so quickly, and then they move back to their home because of Yankee, or because of they feel lonely.
They feel lonely, of course.
They're lonely. They miss their support group and just can't quite find the right people to make them just feel better about everything in life.
Perfect. So you have one more. Tell me.
Have money. Come with money.
Come with money.
Back up money.
Tell me how much. Who always ask me that question? Actually, how much money do you need to survive in a year in Lagos?
A year. See,
or should I have a year's money or 6 months money? How much money should I have?
Ijebu, so for me, like, I can survive on 100k in a month. And that's, again, I'm in Jebu, and I have, you're not going out to the restaurants in VI. I go out like once a month.
That's about
right. Like, even most times I have some good friends. I have a friend me help.
They're funding themselves. We understand.
Or but I'm very big on cooking in my house because it's cheaper and having potluck. So you bring a drink, you bring cake, me I'll cook rice.
That's actually smart.
Chicken.
That's really smart.
Money.
Yeah.
But then again, having that friendship group to who may have money than who are more wealthy maybe, but because my broke friend needs me to bring wine to her house, I will work with her budget instead. But overall, having enough cash flow, because things happen where you don't plan for in Nigeria. Like accidents happen. Your car may be perfect this morning, but then that food just came from nowhere and just damaged everything.
Yeah, and that can afford to fix it. So
they will insult you. They may even beat you and leave you there.
A beat care.
See, I've experienced that. Luckily, I'm a woman and Yoruba in Lagos. That I know that I have almost been beaten many times. That's me. But luckily, when you now have Yoruba name,
feel it.
Like, if you know me,
you know what? I've been there before.
But like, having that cash where things happen,
and you just have to have that.
And because insurance here, you get like that 5k one that will not help you do anything. If you have cash, you can now pay for the bigger one. So like, if you have that, great. But then like health insurance, like to get like the basic things done the right way, you're paying premium for it.
Of course.
And like to get those things done quickly and be alive the next day, you need to have the money for it, because they will not get you into their doors until you have proven you have the money. I've had a friend who died last December. She was like, a robbery, walking to her house, a bit gory. She got stabbed on her way home for her phone. And she was like, she got help eventually. They carried her to different hospitals and they refused. On her third or second one, they refused because prove you have money.
Wow.
But her phone is stolen. How can she show you that she actually has money? And it was just like, and she bled to gain money. But it didn't like, in that whole thing that was happening, what she could call somebody, we are paying their account right now, and get everything done. Simple. But because she couldn't quickly prove that, hey,
funds were
she has
available,
money, or her parents have money to help her out, it was just like, and always have a spare phone with you.
Always have a spare phone. I've never heard that one before.
Like, we have our big phones. Buy a small Nokia, because even in the car, always have that Nokia phone be the one they're always seeing out
display.
There. Because they come and rob you. Give me your phone. Sorry, sir. Nokia can carry and go. But at least that would be your. But and even at that, when my car got towed by police, my main phone got taken from me also. So my car and my phone was gone.
Right.
But my extra, my small Nokia phone was just dismissed. And so that got me to quickly call, hey, family, I'm currently here. And then when they heard me make a phone call, they said, okay, we'll carry you home, don't worry. Say, thank you.
You won't. Wow.
Yeah, but then the phones really, because Nigeria, 911 is not anything in our country.
So actually, just 2 more questions for you. What is the future for pigmented beauty? Like, I think you talked about, exporting in the future, right? Is there any, that's the next goal for you? Is that a 2-year goal, or is that?
No, it's near immediate. So right now, I'm currently working on fixing my packaging problem.
Okay.
So I currently use locally sourced plastic companies, and they haven't been the best experience for me in the past 3 years now.
Yeah, you mentioned.
So I've just simply had to just go back to, hey, China works.
Right.
It's US dollar. I don't like it.
And
it's painful. But I'm like, you know what? And to be able to compete internationally,
you need to be. It needs to be on that par. On that par.
And so I've spoken with a company that wants to work with me in America, and I'm like, okay. According to that, just fix the bottles. Just change that. And once you have that ready, we can then get you out there. But then really my bigger goal is actually just going into Africa, the AFC, FTA countries. Okay. Where the whole free trade zone happening right now. I want to kind of get more into the African market.
Because it's a huge market. It's huge.
But just more, right now, my goal is, again, the bottles, and then just try and find people like me in those markets to just sell to. Like the B2B people. Right. To sell to. Just okay, hey, for this country, it's only you. It's only you I sell to. And that's exclusive, network. You handle your market space. I support you with XYZ, and then you just simply handle the sales to that. So I'm hoping that would happen.
That's the next step, hopefully that. Yeah. You've spoken so much about the challenges of operating in Nigeria. Some people might even be scared of coming at this rate, but you've been here 12 years and you've had the amazing support of your family. You're in an industry that is booming, that is affecting change, that is literally taking up the continent, that the likes of L'Oreal and the likes of Unilever are coming to, this is their next big target market for the next century, but for the next 10 years, 20 years, right? Yeah. With all these challenges, everything you've been through, what keeps you going? What keeps you not throwing everything away and saying, I am going back to America. I'm done with Nigeria. What keeps you going?
It's more, I'm like, hey, it's been 12 years. I'm here for so long. When you already put in so much into a dream, and then you keep on experiencing roadblocks. But then once in a while you get the
breather,
the chance. And so I know that I think last year I was just going through, we all went through many roadblocks, and then the year prior to that. Then I called my mom one day and says, Mom, I'm tired. What happened? She prayed for me. It's had a whole kind of a therapy, thing with her that day, and calmed me down. It's hey, I'm proud of you. You've been doing this for a while now. Where before I started with my skincare thing, with bringing in other products into the country, just that hustle of B2B, let's try and create more, space for XYZ and whatnot, and that's to get those networks first. It took years to first build those networks, where it's not oh yes, I come Med Plus today. No, it took me calling, hello, hi, how far now, and I just always always been there, and I kind of stalking all of their events. Wow. So hey,
you went everywhere, right?
Amen. I hustled though, and it took me about maybe 6 years for ShopRite to say yes to me.
Wow, 6 years.
Of ShopRite. I call in, come back next week. I'm busy. Come back next month.
That is so
come
like
out
a typical
April
Nigerian.
or in March. I'm like, okay, yeah, but always like coming back. And then one day, I got a yes. And so like after putting all of that effort, I know like, you know what I'm saying? Just get XYZ right.
Right.
So knowing what I'm doing wrong and knowing what to do to get it done better has been more of, okay, you know what, and just simply do what you're doing, but just do it better.
Do it better, right?
Just be more efficient, just fix your problem, just make it better. And then just like, no, okay, well, you can just get XYZ done and like, you know, push more and just like put a bit more, maybe next year, maybe like, you know, next few months it could be you. And just seeing how like other people who have been like my parents, my uncles, I've seen their own hustle
to get to, yeah,
man, from like me carrying load on my head to their store in Balogun Market to them in every mall.
That
is
just
insane,
like, right?
So when you see what they've done and like being there and like soaked Gary with them doing that whole thing and just seeing like, okay, hey, you know what, they had,
who am I to quit?
You know, like, and, like my uncle is like, he's up. My mom is she's like almost 60-year-old. I'm like, mommy, I love soon. First see me, you see her in Balogun Market, in Apongbo, you see her in Trade Fair. I'm like, so just seeing that they're always, even at their level, they're still doing it, instead going for it, it's just like still making things happen. I'm like, you know what, and her dream growing up for us was, you know, you will be better than us. And so like all that dreams I had, no, I will be.
You make it there.
I will make it.
You make it there.
I just soak that Gary. I keep pushing.
Keep soaking it, yeah.
Like, you know what,
amazing.
I get through the roadblocks. I call them, you know, for advice. I cry. I call my friends. I cry small again.
And you show up the next day.
And just come back. Just keep
showing up.
Like, I've been the only one having lessons since like December.
Like, wow,
only me,
producing
like,
everything.
Wow. Like I have my overalls on. I'm like carrying my cartons to the car. I have my van here. I carry it to supply customers. So, and it's you. So it's me, oh yeah. Let's upload it.
I love that.
So overall, I think where I've gone this past year has been like just survive, and just like stay afloat and just like, you know, survive mentally, survive financially, and just, you know, maintain your mental.
That's right.
You know. Space. And then overall, like I was here every day for like 2 months, and my car had issues. Both cars broke down on me. I said, uncle, please, am I right though? So every morning I'll go to their house, they'll carry me to office. In the evening they carry me back to their house. From there I'll carry me, go back home. And just making sure I just showed up and just continued to produce my products and then sold. And then made money to then fix my cars.
That's the way it works. I love that.
Like,
yeah.
You know, just been like just making it just happen. Yeah. When you think, like, when I think, are you empty? Let me just
put a little bit in there. That's why it's working.
They keep pushing.
Oh my gosh! No, I love that. I love that. Well,
yeah.
So Zainob, thank you so much for this incredible session. I think you've been very honest. No, of course. I think a lot of times we don't get real stories about entrepreneurship in Africa from females, as in you've given us the raw. I'm sure people out there that are thinking about coming to Africa or coming to Nigeria to start a business have a better understanding of perhaps maybe what it takes to make it work or what it takes to actually start something. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
To all you guys out there, thank you for supporting, for watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button down below and give this video a huge thumbs up. Your engagement and your support on this channel makes everything better and makes it all more exciting. So thank you for your support, and I will see you on my next session. Bye.
Who's that?